every kid that's grown up in the past 10 years probably thinks that Tom Brady is like, well, I mean, let's be honest, he is probably the best. He is the best quarterback to ever play the game, you know. But
I'm sorry. Did you see Mario's about to have a stroke?
I'm not happy to say it. Like I'm the one that sold a shirt that said "Not my goat," you know, and it had like that, you know, like, so like, oh snap, it's going down.
Sorry,
we're filming here. Heck. We finished. You ever see the show Mad Men?
Yes.
Okay, so we just finished like our 2 or 3 month binge of going through that whole series. What a great show! That was awesome. So then we had like an hour left to kill before we hit the sack. I told my wife, you can watch whatever you want to watch. It's fine. Like put it on, whatever. I'm not gonna like whatever, because we spend half our night sometimes going, no, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
So she turns on comedians.
Oh, and driving
cars, getting coffee or something like that with Jerry Seinfeld and Jim Carrey. She fell asleep like 5 minutes into it, but
oh my god!
But it was cool. We watched it and everything, and then as I'm walking down the stairs here to meet you guys, I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, it's great though. Like everybody wants a Bills angle to everything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Seriously, I mean that's half of what 26 Shirts is. I've always been addicted to those daily T-shirt websites like Ripped and shirt.woot.com, and there's a bunch of them out there. And so part of this was just me like force feeding Buffalo sports into that whole thing. So, so you probably noticed like the shirt we're selling right now, Buffalo Republic, and the one we sold just before with Charged. Mm-hmm. Those are slightly more just like Buffalo City centric. Yeah. You know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We've got a really big Bills one coming out a week from Monday. I can't say it. I can tease it here, I guess.
Yeah.
It's really big. There's a certain player I've been trying to get a hold of for a couple months, and he's not on social media, and so I had to go through like the players that I am connected to on social media, and I finally was able to get a hit. So I was emailing. Email feels like mail nowadays. You know what I mean? You're emailing it? Like, what the heck? So, you know, it's like the first bastion of technology, you know, or whatever.
It is. So somebody takes a day to get back to you, like, what the hell? Why did that take so long?
Really, seriously, like, I gotta open up email? Does it just like... So anyways, I've been emailing with him all week. I got the okay. We shipped out the prototype shirt. We do like prototype shirts for photo shoots and stuff like that. Like direct-to-garment printing. Shipped that out yesterday, and it should go live a week from Monday. So I'm really excited about that. Holy crap!
Very cool.
Like, really excited.
Very cool.
So that's an interesting angle that you have to take though, because your experience on social media just has to be different than everybody else's. You know, like it's a lot of people would love to be connected to a player, and you're like, oh, let me see if I can work my way through this web, and get to what I'm hoping for. Yeah, it's interesting how that works.
I guess I never thought of that, but. Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of grown along, my social media, whatever experience has kind of grown along this path, and I guess it is a little bit different than some people's or whatever. But I don't know. It's just it is kind of weird. Like it's almost become like a tool. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I guess it's somebody's watching this going, duh, it is what it is. But it's kind of like a tool in terms of like being able to get stuff done. In terms of like selling the shirts to help people, and that's not why I'm on social media to sell T-shirts. It kind of grew out of that, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. It's hard when I'm the only one. When my social media experience is the only one I know, it's hard to say it's different than everybody else's, I guess.
Well, truth be told, Del, the heart of what you do at 26 Shirts is one of the main reasons why it's so successful. If the Andy Dalton thing didn't show that Buffalo is a community that supports great causes, I don't know what does. And 26 Shirts, I think, is just a branch of that tree, because of the work you guys do. It's awesome stuff. I don't think people have any qualms about dropping money on new shirts through your organization. It's just what we do here.
Well, I think it is that you could have taken a totally different route. Like if someone was the founding member of Bills Mafia, you could have taken a completely different route, and you decided to use that as a catalyst to like, listen, I can have a real charitable event. Every 2 weeks we're gonna debut a shirt and help a family. That's amazing. That not many people I don't think would have done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, to me, it just seems like that was a natural progression. I don't know. I mean, thank you for those kind words. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like the right thing to do, And we are spoiled here. Now, I mean, we sell shirts in Chicago. And we sell shirts in Pittsburgh. I mean, but like I say that, it makes me sound like really like this big T-shirt magnate. Like 95% of our sales are in Buffalo. Like literally, that's not exaggeration. Like 95% of our sales are in Buffalo.
Right, but there's a huge outside market because there's Bills transplants everywhere, and if those guys could get unique items that you could only really get in Buffalo, that's a big deal.
You want to hear something funny? Real quick to finish that thought though. So now that I've sold shirts to Chicago people based on Chicago sports and Pittsburgh sports, it's not a fair sample size. It's not apples to apples because we have such a wide net in Buffalo. But Buffalo, Buffalo folks are different. It is what it is. They're different. They are charitably minded. This is the city of good neighbors, and all those platitudes that we hear all the time. That's really true. So kind of I guess spoiled in that it's, but it just seems like the way to do things. I don't know. It's funny. You look at events, and maybe it's just the way I'm wired. But every time there's like some kind of event, and a big one just happened this week with Bill's stuff. I'm not going to get into it because I don't know the details in terms of how they do their thing. But like, it seems like everything should have some charitable angle. I don't know, if especially when you're bringing in players and stuff. Like, it should be like, oh yeah, and a portion of the proceeds are going to go to this or that or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just feel like we've always got something. There's always something, and I think like the Andy Dalton thing kind of proved that too.
That was amazing. It really was.
It really was. Like, the dude Kevin that came up with it, he's from Grand Island, Nebraska. He's not from Grand Island, Newark. That was his idea. I think it's Nebraska, Grand Island, Nebraska, and he's a huge Bills fan. I don't know if he's ever even been to Buffalo, but I connected with him on Twitter after it all took off. I was like, great job, dude. People are giving me credit for it. Like, I have absolutely nothing to do with this. This is Kevin's idea. I'm happy to promote the heck out of it, but it again, like, it wasn't like a hard sell for Bills fans. It was, it's just part of who we are. And I think the way I described it at one point was it gives us a tangible way to say thank you, or thank you, but it gives us a tangible way to connect to that event in some way, shape, or form. Sure. And there's probably other ways you can do it, but thank goodness that we settled on the whole charitable angle.
I wonder how many of those donations were exactly $17 though.
Oh, thousands of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what they kept saying. It was 17. And I say this using sarcasm, but I'm the chump who didn't read all the fine print, and I gave more than that. And I was like, I was only supposed to give 17.
But I remember, like, back when I was a kid, you could always tell the age of the Bills shirts by what year the championship was on at the bottom of them, right?
Yeah.
And now we've completely gone away from yearly shirts to event-based shirts. Like when the Bills hired Rex, I remember you guys came out with the Rex T-shirt with the Bill streak on it, right?
Yeah.
And you could go back and say, oh yeah, I remember being super stoked about when the Bills hired Rex Ryan. You could actually look at events that happened throughout the season and have a connection with that still. So for the fan, to be able to have a product like that is just super, super cool. It's super, super unique.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because the way that our business model is set up, and we have a really good relationship with our screen printer. He's very tolerant of all these different angles we're always throwing at him. Like, well, can we do this or can we do this? And how about we only do it? But he's great. But the way I've kind of looked at it is because we're only printing pretty much what was ordered during the 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We're not like some big T-shirt company where we have to print like 10,000 of these. Right. And so we're committed. Like, well,
right.
That design is a little too. I don't think we can sell 10,000 of these. Because we're only going to print what we sell. Like, we can do designs like a, excuse me, like a French Smirlets shirt like you're wearing and stuff like that. Like something that's kind of obscure. No disrespect to Fred, obviously because he's awesome, but just because he played so long ago, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but so you're not going to sell 10,000 of those, and I say that ironically. That was like a top 10 seller forever. But anyways, those little niche things that you can do, it allows us that flexibility. So a shirt that maybe, in some people's opinion, should have been made, but it was never made just because of the, all the costs that would have been associated with it, like. We're able to do that. So
So what's the process like for you guys when you want to come up with a shirt? Like, is it like you get 2 days before print? You're like, okay, well we gotta put something down. Is it what's the process for that? Because it's got to be tough when you release a shirt that something happens and you go, oh man, I wish I just had another 2 days. You know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, normally I try not to look back. You know what I mean? Like, all right, this is the design we did, and we're doing it, and whatever. Because the Rex one was funny because, you know, that's when the whole business was really relatively young. I think it was only about a year and a half old at that point. And so Rex got hired, and then we had like a whole week before we sold our shirt because we were still, you know, riding out whatever the previous shirt was. I shouldn't say whatever it was. Electric Company is what it was.
Oh yeah.
The Joe D shirt that model. We actually got hate mail from people like saying like, I can't believe you made an OJ shirt. It's like, it's Joe DeLavalure modeled it and everything. It just says turn on the juice. Sorry, like that was their thing. But anyway, so we had like a week to come up with the design. And at the same time, other companies were coming to market like almost immediately with like Rex shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was like low hanging fruit. Like you said, geez, if I only had 2 more days. I think some of those were thinking because it's just like a picture of his face and it's like Rex. It's like, all right, you know, somebody's excited. They're excited he's his coach. Like they're gonna do it. But so we had a week to do that. But now we've hit the point where we've become like sort of agile in terms of we can get stuff quickly out there. It helps that I'm now doing this full time instead of we just actually drove past Roswell Park. I worked there for 14 and a half years. In fact, we drove right past the building almost that I was in like all that time. I was like, oh, does he know something? But anyways, but
we did our research before.
Yeah, well done. But anyways, so but now we can put stuff out like immediately, and like the most funnest, you know, most fun experiences we've had, or most gratifying, was when the Sabres traded for Jason Pominville, last July. Was it late June, early July, whatever it was? That hit social media or whatever. That rumor, like, oh, you know, the Sabres have traded for Jason Pominville. Within an hour, like less than an hour, we had a shirt out that we were selling that was a Pominville shirt.
Really?
Yeah. So that was like one of my proudest moments in terms of like, obviously
cool.
In terms not know the
giving.
The giving
timing was perfect though.
Right, totally. So the giving's obviously, you know, disclaimer is the thing I'm most proud of. But like in terms of the creativity and the business aspect, like it took us less than an hour. We were selling a Pominville shirt, and then wouldn't you know, his family bought some. I don't know if you watched the documentary.
No.
Because obviously we didn't have time to like get permission. Like, can we say Pominville on the shirt? But during the documentary for Road to the Winter Classic, his kids were wearing the welcome back to Pominville shirts.
That's phenomenal.
So that was kind of like, oh, I guess they're cool with us doing it, you know. But we always try to get like the you know the players okay and stuff like that. But something like that, we rushed right to it and.
Say we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it if we have to deal with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's certain things you can you know do. Like it didn't say Jason Pominville number, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But it was you know, it was all in good. It was all in good nature.
If I'm not mistaken, did you run a Wood shirt recently?
Yeah, Eric Wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did one a few years back with him, and then when he announced his quasi-retirement, whatever's going on right now, that weekend we brought back the design we had done with Scott Flick. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's an awesome artist. Does like pencil sketches that look like photographs. Yeah, seriously, like they look like photographs. It's crazy. So he did that design for us a few years back, and we brought it back. You know,
nice.
And that's you know, again, that's what I was talking about. Like in terms of like the flexibility. Now that we're, you know, we've kind of grown a little bit. We have the ability to just Eric Wood's retiring. That sucks. Well, we got a shirt. Let's sell it, and we'll do some. And then we gave it to his, you know, foundation and everything with it.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So it's kind of cool. And then Summer Sanders bought one, and she had it on her Instagram. That was kind of cool. So I don't know.
You putting them on the wall?
Eric Wood?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's
we
a
had a
Hall of
full
Famer.
debate on that.
Do you?
Yeah. Well,
I'm very loose when it comes to who I think should be on the wall. Like, whatever. He had some games, man. Put him up there, you know. But seriously, Eric Wood he was a captain, and you know he's spent his whole career with the team, and he's a leader, and he gave back to the city so much. While you know.
Yeah, a lot of times you know, a lot of players can come off as being very not curt, but you know, just very short.
Yeah.
You know, and Eric always seemed like somebody that when he was in a room, it was okay to go talk to him.
Yeah,
It wasn't, you know, taboo to go up and shake his hand and say, "Hey, I'm just really happy to meet you."
Yeah, he's a super friendly guy. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like, you know, like we've gone on vacation together. I mean, it's not quite like that. I don't think that with any of these players, but he's been super friendly. He's never told me no to anything. Like, hey, we're doing this to help this family. He's never said no to anything. Great dude. And you know who else is? And I know that there was that whole thing after the playoff game, so I don't know what the story was there. But Richie Incognito, like, he is literally one of the nicest players I've ever met. Like, super friendly. I don't know if when he gets on the field, he becomes like a different person or something like that.
A lot of guys do. Which is weird.
And well, that's also the job, I guess. And but what a great guy. I can only speak to how friendly he is. And when we did the Incognito pancake shirt last spring, dude, he went so hard on social media, like every day. Like, and at one point, the sponsor put out like this. Said, hey, if we're able to sell this many shirts, we'll double the donation or something like that. We'll kick in another extra $2,000. He actually saw it before I saw it on Twitter, so he started tweeting about it. He's like, there it is, folks. The sponsor's going to give them that much. I wake up the next morning like, what the heck? I should be ahead of the curve on this. It's my freaking business. But he's just awesome. He's a good guy and super friendly, helpful. He's one of those guys who's also never told me no.
I guess that's one of the things that's different about Buffalo than everywhere else is how accessible these guys can be. Right? This isn't New York City where guys can really hide. Yeah. This isn't another major market where these guys can hide. They're here, and they can be accessible.
Yeah, we're like a professional college town.
Yeah.
What it is, maybe that's a better way to say that, but like a professional town with a college feel or something. I don't know. But,
yeah, it's a small town feel.
I mean, I assume Pittsburgh's the same way because it's a very similar type of fan base. Mm-hmm. With these players being accessible.
Yeah.
It's just a really huge community feel going on here. So.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's funny. And one thing I've noticed, and this is completely like anecdotal on my part, I've not done some kind of study. Although I sell shirts, I guess I should do a market study or something. But it seems like because Pittsburgh's done so well for so long, like there's a lot of bandwagoners. Like there's I mean, there's Steelers fans everywhere. There's Cowboys fans
Whoops.
Pothole, nice.
Another thing that Buffalo gives you.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. It's not all like happy sunshine or whatever. But totally lost my train of thought there. Oh yeah. So there's Cowboys fans everywhere. There's Steelers fans everywhere. There's like so many bandwagoners, right? Mm-hmm. And so I've noticed Buffalo, we don't really have that problem. But
if you're buying a Buffalo shirt, you're a genuine fan.
Yeah, exactly. Right? You're dying in the wool, right? But but one thing that a lot of Pittsburgh fans have in their Twitter profiles is like Berg verified. And what I think that means is like I'm cheering for the Steelers and I'm from Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? So
okay.
So I don't know where I was coming up with that, like why I still talked about that, but it's just kind of interesting though. Like they do have a small town feel, but they're also like everywhere.
Well, so how hard is it to come up with a design that isn't Tom Brady sits when he pees or Tom Brady eats his chicken wings with ranch dressing? Like, how hard is it not to pull the trigger on something like that just for giggles? Because we made a show like that. It would
a lot of people
like crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't really know if it's really just about selling the T-shirt.
Yeah,
as much as it is about everything that's behind it.
Absolutely. I mean, and that Tom Brady thing, even though I really thought hard about it before I did it, but I decided, I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna do it, But
oh my god.
So I mean, it's not that hard because when you think about it, like we try to stay positive. Because at the end of the day, like these are shirts that we're selling to help people who are in really crappy situations, and you want it to be something that's like positive and uplifting and stuff like that. So it's not that hard to really resist the urge to go negative. I mean, we've done a couple we did the Tom Brady one, which I don't even know if that was really super negative. It was more like funny, but we did the Fine shirt, which is people love that one with the little buffalo and the house is on fire and our teams are fine. And,
I remember that shirt. Yeah.
So there's a while there. Every time I would launch it, like the website would crash because we'd get like too many visitors on the website at one point. Just dying. I even I would actually tweet a picture of the error and say, "This is fine."
I know a lot of people are going to ask this. You've probably been asked this question too many times to bear. Can we in 2018 expect a folding table chair Bills shirt?
I knew he was gonna do it.
Gotta ask.
I can't speak to that.
Okay. All right.
I can't show my hand. I can't.
like, where were you when the drought broke? Like, what were you doing?
I was at my friend Brett's house. My wife and I because it was New Year's Eve, and so my wife and I were there. Our kids were there. It was like a New Year's Eve party we were at, and we just watched the whole thing. And I remember, and I brought my laptop with me. I'm like, fine, we'll go to Brett's house, but I'm bringing my laptop with me because the shirt is going to go live. The next shirt went live at midnight because it fell on a Monday, and it was either going to be a Sabres shirt or the specific shirt that we had designed for the Drought. And it's funny because as soon as I had the laptop open like at his house, all set like at the back end of the e-commerce, blah blah blah, and as soon as Dalton threw that pick, I changed everything. Like, all right, we're doing the Sabres shirt, blah blah blah, and because I wanted to get on with it and get on with my night,
Sure.
So. And then all of a sudden, like, they call it back. I'm like, oh, crap. So then, like, I had to undo everything I did. I redid it. And then it's funny, too, because I did it in such haste that the SKU on our back end that, only we can see, and, like, anybody who pays attention to your invoice, is kind of messed up. It's got an extra letter in it because I was going so fast. So it's like 505A or something like that. So, but, yeah, so I was at my friend's house, and it was pretty cool. And there's a video of me somewhere jumping up and down and screaming. I don't know who recorded it, but... we were all doing that. It was awesome. What about you guys? Where were you?
I was home.
Yeah, home.
I had I really couldn't jump. I had my 2.5-year-old on my lap sleeping, so I really couldn't jump.
I don't think I can do it. Like, that kid's waking up. Sorry.
Sorry, buddy.
That time's over.
I was like, wow. Like, I was in shock when I saw that he threw that pass and Boyd went in and.
Yeah, Boyd his charity made like $40,000 or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He piped up after like 3 days of just having it rain on him. Yeah. He's like, I caught that pass.
And he's like, guys.
Oh man.
Like, it was one hell of a pass.
Oh, it was.
Oh my gosh.
Just over
CJ Mosley.
Just over the linebacker. It was a perfect pass.
I've probably watched that pass 1,000 times.
Oh yeah.
Most of them with the Titanic theme. You guys saw that.
That's great.
Hysterical.
That's great.
Anything you put, I think that's like the 5th or 6th time someone put the Titanic on a sports event.
Oh no, there's a whole Twitter account just devoted just to that, like Titanic Sports or this one that's all basketball. And I always thought it was the dumbest meme until like it happened to my team, and I was like, okay, now I get it. I get it now. Like, oh my gosh, it was so good. I think all those other sports moments were all just warm-ups for the Bills breaking the drought for that perfect. Used to that song.
Yes.
To me, it was almost better because we got the help. You know what I mean? To me, if it was a win to get in, I would have been thrilled. But I got to watch a game. I got to watch them win. And then I had to watch the last 10 minutes of another game that determined our fate.
Yeah.
So to me, it just made the experience better. I got more football.
It was such a unique thing, right?
It was. Yeah. It was. A team had to win a game that meant nothing to them.
Yeah, and they did it. Yeah. That same team freaking beat us earlier in the year, too.
They sure did.
Beat them. That's different.
You know what I found weird? I'd gone to a Bills game this year, and all the, I don't even remember who we were playing, but all the...
it was over 60, so any of those games that were over 60 degrees.
Yeah, that's the ones that... I don't go to any games that are under 70 degrees. I'm 150 pounds, all right? I gotta preserve.
So the Bucks game was the last one you would have gone to.
Yeah. So we go to the game, and I don't even remember who we were playing, and all the everybody there, all the ushers, everybody at the stadium's all wearing an orange shirt. And I was like, do you guys change your shirts based on the color of the team that's playing? They're like, no, we're just wearing orange. And then one usher goes, yeah, we're also playing the Bengals this year. And he named all the teams whose colors were orange. And like half our home games were against teams whose color was orange. And I go,
the Broncos.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I don't think they thought this one through. All right. Because it's just weird to see an orange-colored Bills shirt. It was an orange shirt with the Bills logo on it. And it was like, oh yeah, that is a little funky.
There's probably some Dalton shirts out there now. I saw people getting Dalton Bills jerseys and everything.
Oh, sure.
Oh my God,
sure,
that's
why
funny.
not? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I know. He was the MVP that day. Well, this was awesome. I really appreciate you guys
oh my God, no, thank you.
Thank you.
This is a really cool idea you guys have.